Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Kings of Cold podcast. I'll be your host. My name is Brad Gates. I'm a licensed C38 refrigeration contractor in Southern California. We take care of commercial and light industrial refrigeration systems. I created this podcast to just shed light on the industry as a whole and have fun with some of the amazing people that I know in the trade and just kind of grow awareness for what we do and why we are out here keeping everything cold. Essentially, it's interesting because refrigeration is one of the major backbones of society, and people don't even know the trade exists. They don't think about the millions of square foot or millions of dollars of refrigerated food in warehouses, florists, morgues, pharmaceutical companies. So the trade is pretty expansive and it affects our everyday life, and most people don't even know about it. And a lot of the stuff that I see in our trade and information that I see about our trade is kind of stuffy, like school knowledge. And we're going to be a no bullshit, have fun, off the cuff kind of show where having fun and good conversations and knowledge is going to be more important than making facts and putting out the information that a lot of people may already know or may not know. So we're looking forward to doing it. So just to get started here, a little quick about myself. I started refrigeration probably about, I don't know, long time ago, about 2008 or 2009. I was working at a refrigerated warehouse as a forklift technician. I was a lead mechanic for all the things in the warehouse, racking, forklifts mostly, the battery machine, all this other stuff. And one day I got this life-changing sit down with my boss at the time, and he pulled me into his office and basically was like, "Hey, you're topped out in pay unless you want to learn refrigeration." And the place I was working for was a massive cold storage warehouse with 3 ammonia facilities on site there, millions and millions of dollars worth of product, hundreds of thousands of square foot of frozen and refrigerated storage spaces. And I was like, okay, topped out in pay at 27 years old with a young family and 3 kids does not seem optimal to me. So I rallied up my GI Bill and got into the refrigeration school, started the trade and started learning all I could, and really never looked back. The trade's been so powerful for me and so helpful for me in my life. It's really grown me up. I raised my kids essentially being a refrigeration technician for an industrial company, and really have loved the trade from the first time I kind of accidentally fell into it. My first real shit moment with the trade as a whole was before I was even a refrigeration contractor or a technician at that point. So I walked into that warehouse and my mind was blown. And if you've ever been into an industrial refrigerated warehouse, you know that feeling when you walk in there and go, holy shit. It's essentially a freezer the size of Home Depot, -5, -10 degrees, and refrigerators just as big, walk-in refrigerators with forklifts driving around. And I remember looking over one time, I was just starting to work there and I was going to look at a forklift in the freezer. And I looked over and those pallets and pallets of ice, and your brain just kind of goes, what the fuck? How am I, like, there's pallets of ice just standing here next to me. So that was one of the my first oh shit moments in the trade where I kind of, whoa, okay, this is pretty serious. And walking into the engine room was pretty impressive as well. I mean, the compressors are the size of small cars, and there's 8 of them lined up, and you got all these vessels everywhere. It's pretty impressive. But that was my first real oh shit moment with the trade. And I've just stuck with it for all the years because I like the challenge of it. I like the growth that it offers me. I mean, I went from a technician to an owner operator in maybe 15 years of span, and I couldn't be happier about that. So it's been an excellent opportunity for me as a whole. And the trade's really recession proof, and hell, we can probably even survive the apocalypse if we play our cards right. I mean, as long as there's people around, we're going to need refrigeration, we're going to need air conditioning, we're going to need those things to exist. And it's one of those trades that just it doesn't really slow down. I worked basically fully through the 2008 recession. I worked through coronavirus as an essential worker with no stopping whatsoever. I mean, it was pretty crazy to see all these other people when I was younger. All my buddies were building hot rods and building hard and stuff like that. And I was so jealous because they had such cool jobs, you know. And then when the economy took a crap and nobody was buying anything, then a lot of people found themselves out of work or trying to find a different trade. And there I was plugging along and still growing and learning. So very grateful for the trade for that. And that's one of the main reasons I stuck around when I did. Um, One of the big common misconceptions about refrigeration people as a whole is that we fix refrigerators. You tell people you're a refrigeration guy, and the first thing they think is, "Oh, the refrigerator in their kitchen." And don't get me wrong; those folks are important, the appliance guys. But what refrigeration technicians and refrigeration contractors technically refer to on the larger scale is cold storage facilities, refrigerated warehouses, food manufacturing places, pharmaceuticals, florists, like I said earlier, morgues. Those people need refrigeration as well, just as much as any other business. And then it goes down to so far as affecting our daily lives. And we probably don't think about it every time we go to the gas station and grab that cold Rockstar off the counter, or we go to a restaurant and order food. I mean, every restaurant, gas station, bar, they all have refrigeration, in some cases several different refrigeration systems. I have customers now who have upwards of 20 to 30 refrigeration systems all over their facility, from ice machines to reach-ins to prep coolers. So it's it's a very all-encompassing trade, and I've been blessed to work in the trade from essentially the farmhouse to the table. I've done a lot of different parts of refrigeration. I've worked on farms where they bring the food in right out of they just picked it out of the damn field and they put it in a vacuum chiller, and they use the vacuum to cool these plants, the vacuum effect to cool these plants pretty quickly. It happens pretty quick and it works really well, all the way up to the industrial warehouses. And now I do a lot of gas stations and restaurants and bars. Been fortunate enough to work on all the different areas of the trade, which most people don't even realize it exists. It's kind of crazy to think about that we're so crucial to society's functioning, and people don't even realize we're out there doing it. But that's part of it. So the reality of the trade is it's hard work. It's a lot of, you know, you have to be available when your customer needs you, and you never really know when stuff's going to go down. We focus on maintenance and keeping everything running and trying to keep the problems from happening before they happen, but that's not always how it works. Equipment doesn't really care if you're on vacation or you don't feel that well. So it's a big deal to be on call, and a lot of long nights, a lot of deadlines, a lot of pressure whenever you're out there. When you get called out to figure something out and you're the contractor, there is no extra line of defense. It's your job to find the problem. It's your job to fix the problem, source the parts, and make it happen. So there's a lot of pressure that comes with the trade, and there's a lot of constant learning that takes place as well, because nobody knows everything and you're not going to see all the problems. And it takes years and years to get comfortable understanding what the systems need and how to fix the problems on the fly as a whole. Excuse me. So, I found myself in a lot of different scenarios through the years. Some of the funnier ones is within a couple weeks of when I first started, I met this old school. He was a friend of mine. He's no longer with us. God rest his soul. But I met him at this job site, and we're supposed to be cleaning coils at this giant warehouse for fast food. Is a fast food place, and these coils are big. I mean, they're 5 foot by 10 foot, big coils. And we go in there, and this guy's kind of old school, like a cowboy kind of guy, you know. And we go in there and we go up on the scissor lift, and it's cold as hell in there. I'm freezing, and he throws his pressure washer on the lift. We run the hose across the warehouse, hundreds of feet of hose. We're up there, and I'm kind of back there, not really sure what's about to happen. And this guy lets his pressure washer rip about, I don't know, 2,000 psi on 2 inches of dusty dirt, and within seconds, this whole room is just covered in dirt. You can't see. We got dirt in every orifice on our body. The forklift operators are driving around the room, coughing and yakking and trying not to die. And it was a pretty funny situation. And I thought to myself, what the hell did I get myself into? But since then, I found out a couple smoother, easier ways to do it rather than the old school cowboy method, using shop vacs or using brushes and kind of regulating that initial layer of dust before you just blast it with a pressure washer. But that was a pretty funny story that I could think of off the top of my head. And one of my brutal stories that I can tell you that's a brutal job is pretty much any damn work in a freezer. Anytime you're working in an industrial freezer, you can't feel your hands. You've got gloves on, so your dexterity is very limited. And a lot of these freezers these days will have the lights will be on motion sensors. So you're up in the air on a lift in the freezer working, and the light sensor's down over here. It can't see you. So the power constantly shuts off to the lights. So next thing you know, you're trying to get lights back on. You're in a dark freezer, freezing your ass off. You got to figure out how to operate the scissor lift to get yourself down safely without hitting any pipes or wires and get over there to turn the lights back on. So it's pretty brutal overall, the freezer work, but it's a very necessary part of the gig and you can't just shut it off. So one of the lessons I've learned through the years of working in the trade have been to always double check the work, to always verify that the power is off, even your own work. Because if you sit there and you assume that that power's off, you can shock the shit out of yourself. Ask me how I know. I did it. I was working on a rooftop and all the units kind of looked similar. And I took for granted that the unit I had shut off was the one I was working on, and I reached over to pull a fuse out, and that surprised me. So that was one lesson that I never forgot. Always try to double check and verify even my own work, but that's just the way it goes. So I started this podcast because I know a lot of people in the industry, and I have some very amazing and incredible friends that I'm very excited to share their stories and share their information and their education and just share the knowledge that they have about the trade and just kind of speak in real people's terms and get the information out there from the teachers to the engineers to the technicians, even a couple scientists that we might be able to bring on the show and just shed light on what's going on in the trade and share some war stories and have fun. Really, that's the basis of why we're here and what we're doing. So I'm looking forward to sharing it with everybody and growing the podcast. We will be doing interview-based conversations, 20 to 40 minutes with all those people that I mentioned above, teachers, technicians, friends of the show, people who have been doing this a long time, who have valuable insights as to what the trade is, how the trade works, where the trade's going, and educational and entertaining mostly. So that's the primary basis of how the show's going to work. So if you liked anything about the show and you're looking forward to seeing how we grow, or you just want to hang out and laugh at us because we don't know how to podcast, do us a favor, follow the show, share the show. If you have anybody who you think would be a great guest of the show, please send them our way. We can be reached at Cold King, Kings of Cold Podcast at gmail.com, or you can find us on Instagram at Kings of Cold Podcast. So thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time. We appreciate you listening to us, and we're looking forward to having a good time. We'll see you on the next one.